Not everyone is as lucky as you children, who are certain that you will be home on Christmas Eve. Unfortunately, there are many people who live far from their home, and who are so busy with work that they can't even think about traveling home to their loved ones until the last moment. And then they have a long way home, so that they have to travel by steamboat or railway, and there will be thick snow and dicing weather, so it probably happens more than once that they'll get to spend Christmas Eve on a rolling ship or inside a small cramped railway compartment. That's what happened to me this past Christmas. I could not travel until Christmas Eve itself. There were so many travelers and so much goods that day, so that the train were delayed by a full hour right from the start. But then it finally rattles its way out of the city across the white fields and through the snow-covered forest. With each station we passed, we were delayed even more. And so the Christmas snow began to fall, soft and beautiful at first, but then got even stronger. It was quite a whirlwind, and the snow piled up in great drifts around us. The conductor, who wandered through the compartment, told us that the locomotive was busy pulling us forward, and it would probably get worse further on. I sat and looked at my fellow travelers. There were 6 of us in the compartment. 4 of them looked like sales or office assistants, and the despondent expression on their faces clearly showed that they longed to get to the peaceful home where the candles were lit and the trees were shining, and perhaps their father and mother and many siblings were waiting for them. The 5th, on the other hand, was a stout worker with healthy red face. The rest of us were real youngsters, and he looked to be about 50 years old. On the floor between his feet lay a bag, from which a few tool handles, a hammer and an axe were sticking out. He was probably also on his way home from work, but it seems to be going just as badly for him as for us. I addressed him, and I was told that he only had 1 more station to go before he arrived. I also tried to get the others to talk, but there weren't many words. Everyone kept to their own agenda and didn't care to talk about indifferent things. The train was now moving very slowly. I was consumed by dark forebodings. And quite true, suddenly the train stopped. The wheels no longer turned. There was a violent thump through the whole line, and then there were complete silence. The train had stopped in the middle of a dark spruce forest. We looked at each other, tired and disconsolate. After a little while, the conductor came and informed us that we were stuck in a big drift, and that they must not drive on with the locomotive until they dug us out. It was only the track guard and his helper, who lived right next door, who could do the work, occasionally relieved by the train operator, so it would probably take quite a while before we could move on. At first we sat silently in mute despair, but I felt that it was becoming more and more difficult that way, so I ventured to speak to my unfortunate comrades. I talked about all the Christmas tree decorations I had brought with me, and about the many small Christmas presents. And it turned out that the others also had such things with them. In a little while we had taken out our bags and taken out candles, stars, glitter, candies, and many other strange things. The carpenter over in the corner sat and watched. "That was nice," he said. "Yes, but now we won't get any use for it. We'll be late for Christmas now." He sat still for another moment and watched. Then he suddenly got up and opened the compartment door. I looked at him and wondered where he was going. He never meant to leave the train, did he? But then he got down from the wagon and stood out there in the deep snow. He reached back into the wagon, grabbed his bag, and pulled out a large axe. He waded out into the snow and climbed over the fence. Right after that we heard axe chopping, and now we understood. A couple of minutes later we had the most beautiful little Christmas tree inside. Now there was joy. We piled up our bags around it so it would stand securely, and then dressed it with all the decorations we had brought out. We laughed merrily, and our eyes shone with joy of heart. Then at last we lit the many candles. The carpenter was also there, but after a while he pulled his watch out of his pocket. "We're right next to the church," he said. "Soon we will probably be able to hear the church bells." We listened. He was right. The wind carried the bells straight to us. It was wonderfully beautiful and atmospheric. Now probably father and mother and the younger siblings were standing at home around the lit tree and singing, as we always used to do, the old Christmas carol. And with a moved heart I also started to sing. The night flees for the joy of the day, and the voices of angels from the height of the heaven carries the message to pious shepherd that the good shepherd is born. Arise, be light of mankind, your name shall be Christian. Your glory and your peace of mind shall believe in the Lord Christ. Promised to be mercy, hand power, his wonderful counsel, promised forever and ever the Eternal's mercy. The others had joined in the song. The compartment aisle was full of people who wanted to see and hear. And the lights shone and the bells rang while we sang. And then we celebrated Christmas Eve in the railway compartment. A moment later the train started again, and we soon reached the station where the carpenter was getting off. He had not yet tied his bag. While he got ready, we took and stuffed each a little Christmas present down through the opening. "Goodbye," he said. "Goodbye, and Merry Christmas," it sounded from all of us.